You know what I've never told you? And I know I haven't done this, but QT has talked about it on her stream a bit. I have never told you the full story of my first time meeting QTCinderella. Now, obviously, by now, you guys know I am dating QTCinderella. She is my girlfriend. And it's something that happened over months. But much before ever meeting in person, we met online. Actually, on stream. You can find the clip, I'm sure. We have 2 off-limit things you guys aren't allowed to talk about. 1, chest hole. 2, the pimple, okay? That's it. It's ringing.
I heard you have a chest hole.
What the f, chat? But eventually, even online people will meet in person, which is exactly what we did 2 years ago over summer. Here's how it started. QT was like, hey, I'm going to be in town to design a wedding. It was like a friend's wedding, I think she said she was going to be at, and it was over summer, and she was going to like do the cake for it, I think. That's what she told me. It turns out that was a huge fucking lie. It sounds like I'm making this up. It's because it was all a lie. QT basically told me this entire story about how she has to like be in LA to like make a fucking cake and like do all this shit. Where in reality, she came through, and props to her, just so we could meet for the first time. Because at this point, we'd been talking for like a couple months. Pretty much like every day after stream, we would talk. We would shoot the shit. And I, being a guy, am stupid. So when she said all this like pretty like not makes a lot of sense story about how she has to be here and it's like a few days, but she's not actually going to the wedding, but she like needs to be there for it, but makes a cake for it because she used to make a lot of cakes on stream for weddings. I was like, sure. Not thinking much of it. To this point in my life, I had actually turned down several women. I was very Sigma at this point. You know, I was pretty much all about the hustle and the grustle. I was just trying to get my pen to paper and my paper in my wallet. I was very keen on being a big streamer, all right? And so I wasn't really interested in having... What the fuck is this story? Can I... QT, let me tell my story. You can't interrupt my story. It's my story because it's my version of events. Wait, what did you just say? You were a total simp. Okay, do you want to be here for this? I can't have you. You can either come here and we can tell this story together, or you could listen in smiley face and chat. As I was saying, I'm basically a running back. Face palming all these women that want my attention because I was always focused on the grind. All right, getting to the top, being a big streamer. What?
Why are you lying?
What am I lying about? I said I had a bunch of women throw themselves at me.
That was not true.
I had dozens of women throw themselves at me. Dozens.
None of this is true.
I had near hundreds of women throw themselves at me.
Mad.
And I rejected all of them.
None of this is true.
Okay, is this how you're going to help me tell the story by just saying not true? What are you fact checking me?
I just don't understand. Dude, I don't know what to say besides this guy used to be obsessed with me. And I don't know what happened since then because it was so great. And
all right, can I tell my story? Because you're jumping ahead a lot of years.
No, you were obsessed with me before I came.
I haven't finished. I literally was talking about how a bunch of women
They were not.
were throwing themselves at me.
There were not a bunch. If you don't want me to spill the real tea, I'll spill the
No,
real tea.
obviously not.
Yeah.
I would really appreciate it if you didn't, but there were dozens of women.
There were not dozens of women. There was like one.
Let me
I shouldn't
exaggerate.
say it.
Jeez,
I
you're now you're going too far.
No, because I just think we should be as honest as possible here.
Really? You think that we should? No, it's just called a. You're not letting me embellish. You're making my story
Okay, a
lame.
dozen women.
Dozens.
They were all viewers just sending him nudes.
Almost hundreds.
Those are all the women.
Can I continue?
Yeah.
So, for 2 years. After college. Every word are you gonna bite on? For 2 years, in between college and going full-time streaming, I never had a girlfriend or even went on a date.
You did go on a date.
You are miserable to tell a story with. You are miserable. Just hold it in. Just don't speak out loud.
Uh-huh.
Nary a day had I been on a date. A soulless, reinvented virgin since the days of ASU where I had slayed thousands of women with my peen. Had so much copious sex. But now I had a new beast to fuck, which was Twitch. That was my goal. I wanted to be a big streamer. I went full time and I put all of my efforts into that. And I never really thought that I would put my time and efforts into having like a girlfriend, because it can be a lot of work. That was until I saw QTCinderella. And everything changed overnight. The months toiling on streams, Amazon unboxings, and You Laugh, You Loses were a petty thought compared to her beauty, her humor, her conversation. And every night, after streaming days and days on end, I would go to talk to her, watch movies with her, and just hang out over Discord. Nary a day having met in person, but truly forming the bond of bonds online. But we had never met in person. And so Cutie makes up this entire story about how, I don't even remember your story. I really don't. I just believed it because I believe people, because I'm so honest. She was like, yeah, I gotta go to LA to see a guy about a thing. And so, you know, maybe we can hang out. It was like she was like very blasé about it. She was like, yeah, I gotta go for this thing, but like maybe we could meet up or whatever. And I was like, okay, sure. Is this true?
Yes, I did make up what I was doing. Yes.
Interesting.
You're right.
Interesting.
Right, I did.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. I did. This is the truth so far. Uh-huh.
And so she landed, and her first destination was actually my house, because she got a hotel and they didn't allow check-in until a little bit later, and her flight landed quite early. So my first interaction with her was fresh off of a plane, and I had like just woken up because it was still pretty early in the morning, I think.
It's like 4 p.m.
Again, still pretty early in the morning for me. But you have to keep in mind that although I'd been talking to her, I don't think I was leading a life that was a customary to women being a part of it. And by that, I mean I was a degenerate gaming bachelor. And so she comes over. You can give your impressions on myself.
Yeah, so apparently, I didn't know this. It was either Slime or Nick were in the driveway as I brushed my teeth and spit it into the gutter, which is very funny. Their front door was wide open, by the way. It was wide open when we got there.
It's how we rolled back in the day.
That's absurd.
It was kind of an in and out policy, you know what I mean? Like old Napoli.
Very weird. And so this is...
Is that me?
Yeah. That is Ludwig in the doorway.
What was I wearing?
You were wearing a white shirt and black shorts. You were just wearing like a white like tee from like Target or something.
Sounds
or
fitted.
Kirkland.
Sounds
Brown.
fitted and kitted.
I don't think so.
Regardless,
your house was so dirty. It was so dirty.
I
like
cleaned it up before you came.
I don't think it had ever been vacuumed.
I cleaned it before you came.
It was not vacuumed.
Well, I didn't vacuum it. I cleaned it. It's different.
It was not vacuumed at all.
Yeah, but you know, it was carpet, so you don't need a vacuum carpet. You just walk over it. Shoes on. If anything, we had a staunch shoe on policy in our house. Not a shoe off house. We're a shoe on house.
Well,
because everyone's a shoe in. That's what we said.
I then went to your room where we did just hang out. Like, he was just showing me his stream setup, and I think it was Slime or Nick. One of them came in, and we talked for a little bit. And then I was like, okay, gotta go check into my hotel. And then I left you.
A lot of people are trying to allude to hanging out, meaning that we boned or something. But,
genuinely not. He didn't even hug me.
well, this is gonna we'll get to that. Remember that thought if you are thinking that for the next part of this story.
Yeah, it gets embarrassing.
It gets cute is what I would say.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing about me.
Uh-huh.
I'm a treat to talk to in person.
What? Why are you pointing at me?
Because I was hoping you'd be like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. But, you know, I'm not, although it seems, and I have, and at one point, sure, that I am like Hassan 2.0, and I'm out there just chatting it up and just, you know, being like, yo, baby, want some fuck? That's generally, I am much slower to enter that, because I really believe that women should drive the car. For so many years men did, and what has that brought us society is what I think a lot. And so that's what I was thinking. And so here's what happened. She came over on the guise of like business, and so it was a very casual, it was more so, can these two people who have met online have a sociable time in person? And the stream went pretty well, minus that one time I farted and she got kind of grossed out.
Yeah, I hated that.
It was pretty funny. I farmed some low
It
W's.
was not. Taylor thought you were really funny. I did not think that was funny. I was like,
the real thing I wanted to talk about, the crux of the story, the juice, the meat, was Santa Monica Pier. And again, it wasn't really a date because Cutie didn't come alone. Maybe concern that I was an axe murderer was part of it. But when I was like, let's hang out, she was like, cool. And she brought not one, but two people along with us. Her security guards, which is fair. All right. I'm intimidating. I'm a big guy. All right. You look me up and down and you would be a bit nervous. I get that. Most children, women, and men are scared of me. So we arrive to Santa Monica Pier. The first thing that Cutie does, because we go to get like a small dollar pizza store, is she buys like, what is it? 3 shots or 5? It was like a fifth of whiskey. And I'm like, okay, because I guess she was a bit nervous, but I think I had drove, so I didn't really want to drink much, and also if it's up to me, I would drink like a light beer or maybe a seltzer, but she was like literally grabbing it and then just gulping it impressively in a way, because whiskey's her drink of choice, and just absolutely downed it because of the nerves, and we hung out with the whole group, and I think you ran into the ocean at one point. I was in a swimsuit. Yeah. No, but I mean, you just ran in and out. Yeah. Not like fully clothed, but in a swimsuit, you ran in and out of the ocean, which was freezing still, and then you're leaving out the part where I had a swimsuit. Everyone else there had a swimsuit, because in reality, it was me and my friends' plans to go to the beach, and I invited you, so that's why my friends were there. Yeah, and so Ludwig doesn't bring a swimsuit. And I'm nervous about getting in the ocean because I was having fat girl problems and I just didn't want to be seen in my bikini. And so Ludwig, trying to hype me up, strips down to his underwear. Again, this is like the second time I ever met him. Strips down into his underwear and runs into the ocean in public. And then after, did you have the confidence to go in?
No, I was like, what the heck?
You did.
I sure, but it wasn't from you running in your underwear. I was like, oh my gosh, people are gonna see that this guy's in his underwear. What kind of underwear? They were Calvin Klein's boxer briefs. It was clearly not a swimsuit.
To paraphrase, yes, I did a Chad maneuver, and I showed off that anyone can be a chef, much like Ratatouille. Anyone can run in the ocean. And after that, we dried off. We hung out Santa Monica Pier. I think we had played some games a bit. And then came the magical moment
My God, I have to leave. This is
where
so
we
cringe.
went on the Ferris wheel at Santa Monica Pier. And we had our own pod, and her friends had their own pod. And as we go up and we hit the peak with the entire view of the ocean on one side and the view of Los Angeles on the other, I kissed her for the first time.
No, you didn't. Why are you like this?
What?
Why are you lying?
What do you mean?
He is lying, chat.
What happened?
What do you mean what happened?
What actually happened? Oh yeah, we rode the entire Ferris wheel, the whole wheel, just the Ferris wheel the whole way without kissing, and we just.
And then the roller coaster, and then everything else.
Yeah, we didn't kiss the entire time. But we did hold hands. That's right, boys. I was in, almost assuredly. Months of talking online. All for what? The most magical moment in the world. When my 5 met hers. They clasped in harmony. It seemed as if the world stopped for a moment. And it did for me. Because I knew things would not be the same after these hands touched. And then we went home to my place. Brought her back to mine.
Was the plan to go watch a movie? You weren't like...
Brought her back to mine to watch a movie. And I knew I had to impress her with a really deep-cut flick. You don't want to watch Avengers, all right? You don't want to be so on the nose you're watching 50 Shades of Grey. So I found a one-of-a-kind copy of Legally Blonde, the musical. Now, it just so happens, coincidentally, that this was also the exact recording of my high school's adaptation of Legally Blonde. So it was actually, so what it actually was a parent recording me acting in Legally Blonde as a 17-year-old 5 years later, and I showed her that as our first movie. And while the movie was going, we were laughing a lot. Admittedly, she will admit this because it was really funny. Like, it's really, you might be like Pepe Painsing, but it was like a funny thing. And at the crescendo of the movie, when Elle finally gets into Harvard, I leaned over and kissed her for the first time.
No, you didn't.
What?
Slime came home, and I said, Slime, I brought you tot nachos from Taco Bell. And then Slime ate the tot nachos.
And then what happened?
And then I got so drunk I passed out.
And I sat next to her while she was drunk, doing absolutely nothing the entire time, that entire evening, because I had seen her down the bottle of whiskey, and I understood that me, a sober man, would not want to sully our first kiss by being on unequal playing fields of drunk in soberness. As the gentleman I was and am, I refrained from the beautiful
I hate you. Is this story over?
and that was our first kind of date. It was a date.
You farted the first time I met you.
Well, that's because I don't like hiding anything. And then over the past couple of years, I've turned into the greatest boyfriend in the world.
It has
Just
been
what?
years. It's been years. It's been a long time, huh?
But it only feels like mere days in the arms of someone you love. And it could go on forever, and you would never even know, because life flashes you by so quick.
Flashes you by so quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you-
No, it's fine.
Anyway, that was it. That was the first date.